Why hasn't anybody thought of this sooner? Greetings and welcome back to another adventurous and exciting episode of the Vodkast. I'm your host, Geycen. Today with us is the king-sized Hershey's Crunchy Waffle Cone Pieces. I couldn't be more excited to try a candy bar than this candy bar. Now, if Mr. Beast had put this out, I'd probably be a little bit more excited, or Tony's Chocolate Only, if you want to go back. I did a bunch of those on a review once, and very expensive reviews, let's just say, because those were about $5 each, and I think we did about 10 of them. For me, that's an expensive review. Anywho, I'm really excited to try this today. Why, you might ask? It's because Nutty Waffle Cone, Americone Dream, whatever you want to call it, is one of my favorite ice creams of all time. That combination of, now I understand this doesn't have caramel, but caramel, the ice cream, and the waffle cone just go really well together. And they're usually chocolate covered, so to have it inside the chocolate, it's almost like you could break this up and put it in ice cream, put a little drizzle of caramel on it, maybe some whipped cream and a cherry, and you got yourself a sundae. A very delicious sundae, I'm assuming, because I can't imagine it's going to be bad. Have you guys ever heard of the show Alone? Have you guys ever heard of the Beatles? Alone is a show where they send 10 people out into the woods. I don't know who they are, A&E or whatever, AMC or whatever channel does it. They send 10 people out into the woods that they think can handle this situation. They're each allowed to bring 10 pieces of gear. They never see each other. They have to survive as long as they can on their own, standards. Whatever they can do, whatever they bring to the table, that's what it has to keep them alive longer than the other 9 people, and then they win. I think this season was $500,000, but I know they did $1 million season. I know you're here to see the Hershey's Crunchy Waffle Cone review, but I want to talk about Alone for just a moment, because I really want to be on that show. And you're probably thinking to yourself, Jay, you wouldn't survive 2 days on that show. Mind you, I don't disagree with you there. I don't think I would be a winner. I think I could last, doesn't matter how long I could last. The fact of the matter is, there's a reason why I want to be on there. Because no one has ever done this on the show before, and I always wonder, every season I'm like, this would really solve a lot of problems. You end up with a lot of time on your hands, as the weather gets bad and the animals start to disappear. You're setting your lures, you're setting your snares. I don't think I could do that to animals. However, they're doing all this stuff, and then they sit around and they're just like, well, I've been sitting around for 8 hours today because I couldn't find anything to eat. And it's like, what you should do? I know you don't want to burn calories, but early on, you should have put up a perimeter fence. No one has ever done a goddamn perimeter fence on this show, and it freaks me out. I want to get on the show just so that the very first thing I do after building a shelter, of course, is to build a perimeter fence, a spiked perimeter fence around the borders, maybe a second fence that goes around that too, because all these people are worried that, there's a fucking bear outside my tent. All right, I'm going to get on to the review. I just had to tell you that because it's something that's been weighing heavily on my heart lately. If I could get on Alone, the very first thing I would do, or second or third thing I would do, is be a perimeter fence. It's silly. It's so easy. Sharpen them up. You get spikes on both ends. Drive it into the ground. Maybe you hammer it first, then you sharpen the top. I don't know. I don't got the plan down. I just know that is something I would do. Let's give this thing a smell. I imagine it's going to smell like Hershey's chocolate. Hershey's chocolate is not my favorite chocolate. I apologize, Artie. It's just not. I don't think it's the best. It's classic. It's traditional. It makes a great s'more, but there's so many better chocolates out there. I can show you the world. Chocolatey, splendid, and stinky. I don't know. Here we go. Let's smell this thing. Yeah, it smells like chocolate. It smells like there's something else there, almost like a Rice Krispie. And I think this has been sitting on the shelf at my local Walmart for quite a while. I planned on doing this review the minute I saw that it was coming out. The whole new lineup. There's a new vanilla Kit Kat that's coming out pretty soon. And, of course, you got the Sugar Cookie Big Cup, which I have not seen as well. I imagine the closer we get to Christmas, the more we will see things like this popping up. Well, maybe not like this, but like that. It's like this. It's like that. This and where it's at. Mixing melodies with some back chat. All right, I'm just going to break this down to one square here. I'm going to go with the center square. I don't know why. No, I'm going to go with this one because it's got a little bit extra chocolate on the edge there. And here we go. I'll let you know what I think after I'm done eating it. I'm not saying that Hershey's doesn't make a good chocolate bar. I'm just saying not the best. It's very good. This is incredible. So in my head, because I had been talking about the Rice Krispies or the Crunchy bars or whatever, I don't know what the hell you call them. I had kind of gotten that idea in my head, and it was wrong because I started chewing. I'm like, well, this is way crunchier. Not a huge fan of the more crunchier, but the flavor is exactly what I wanted. It's got that waffle cone that you get when you go to get ice cream sometimes. Sometimes you just get a stupid cone. Sometimes you get a sugar cone. Sometimes you get an Oreo cone. And other times you get a waffle cone or a waffle bowl. This has got that classic waffle bowl flavor mixed in chocolate. So what's wrong with that? Nothing. Nothing's wrong with that. For my likings, like I said, it's a little crunchier. When it's in ice cream, it's had some time to sit and get cold and, freeze and unfreeze. So it's got a little bit of a give to it. That's a real fresh, crunchy, I like the cone with the ice cream. Normally I get my ice cream in a bowl. And then, it's great to have a cone with it. I can smash it up and eat it or whatever I want to do with it. But this is like a fresh cone, like a very crunchy cone. Delicious, just a little more crunchy than I'd like it to be. But I'd be a fool to not give it an 8.5 and highly recommend it if you see it. If you're into Hershey's chocolate, particularly, if you're into Nutty Waffle Cone or Americone Dream or whatever your favorite term is for that ice cream, then this is definitely worth the price of admission. I highly recommend it. Get a whole case of them, put them behind a perimeter fence, and survive for 100 days, and then you'll win $500,000 too. Here on the Vodkast. Yeah, I don't have $500,000, but it would be a fun challenge, wouldn't it? If I ever have $500,000, we'll do something fun with it. We'll figure something out. Let's start talking about it now in the comments below. And if you guys are loving the content I'm creating as much as I love creating the content that you guys are watching, would you please consider subscribing to the channel, because it would be a huge helper-rooney for me. Don't forget to make somebody smile today. Make yourself a better person tomorrow than you were today, tomorrow. Let's make the world spin a little bit happier and a little bit more crunchier. Together. Let's sing and dance in the sun and the rain is one, my brothers and sisters. Live life to the fullest and love every moment of it, because you just never know when that last moment's going to come for you. However, never live in fear of that moment. Always live in love, but never let your inner child die. Take care of yourselves, take care of one another, and take care of those around you who cannot take care of themselves, for they are the ones that need it the most. And if no one has told you today that they love you, the Vodkast loves you very much, just the way you are. All right, guys, do no harm. I'm Geycen Oliveira. This is the Vodkast, and I'll catch you guys a little bit further on down the road to 50. Take care, my friends, and happy adventuring.
Don't go to sleep with a catch it in your pocket.